Portsmouth are about to play Everton on the final day of the season, but the writing's already on the wall. FA Cup final in a week, yes. Premier League future? Absolutely gone. Pompey had gone from FA Cup winners in 2008, European nights at Fratton Park, and signings like Jermaine Defoe and Lassana Diarra to financial meltdown and relegation within 2 years. Stars, misfits, and players who all took wildly different paths after Pompey's fall. So where are they now? Jamie Ashdown, the man who had the inevitable job of replacing David James that day. Ashdown spent years as Pompey's backup, then one big season in the Championship before drifting into lower league football. Ashdown then became a goalkeeping coach at Ascot United in September 2018 and later made 32 appearances for the club in the Combined Counties League Premier Division North. As I've said before, that's a league with way too many words in it. Steve Finnen. Champions League winner Steve Finnen ended his career at Portsmouth after a brief stint at Espanyol following his time at Liverpool. He retired shortly after Pompey's relegation season and was reported to be running a property development business in Ireland with his brother. However, a 2020 article from The Mirror claimed he was selling his medals and match-worn shirts, including his 2005 Champions League winners' medal. And I think I speak for everyone when I say, hopefully everything's okay with Steve, financially and mentally, and hopefully he didn't have to part with his treasured memorabilia. Ricardo Rocha. The Portuguese defender came in during the chaos and actually stayed for a few years in the lower leagues. Rocha was steady, calm, and a rare bit of consistency during Portsmouth's collapse. Rocha left Fratton Park in July 2013 after failing to reach an agreement, with chairman Ian McInnes explaining that negotiations broke down because Rocha wanted an off-the-field role as director of football in addition to a playing deal. Rocha then returned to former club Benfica in the summer of 2024 as assistant manager under Roger Schmidt. And despite Schmidt's quick dismissal, Rocha retained his position under the new coach Bruno Lage. Mark Wilson. Wilson was one of the few players to leave Portsmouth and still carve out a solid Premier League career. He went on to play over 100 games for Stoke City and even earned caps for Ireland. In April 2021, Wilson took on a player-coach role with an Icelandic club managed by his former Portsmouth teammate Herman Heriderson, making 10 appearances that season. He later continued in the same role at another club in Iceland, but injuries kept him from featuring on the pitch. You might have wondered why I didn't name-check the Icelandic clubs. This is the reason why. Go on, you have a go at home at saying these names. Herman Heriderson. Yet, whenever the word relegation is uttered, Herman Heriderson's name is not far behind. After Pompey, he dropped into League One and then had a crack at management. He held positions as both assistant and manager in Iceland, India, and back in England with Southend before returning to Iceland, where he's currently in charge of HK. And HK is all you're getting out of me. Hayden Mullins. Mullins was the steady midfield anchor in this team. After Pompey, he played for Reading, Birmingham, before moving into coaching. After retiring, Mullins began his coaching career at Reading, then joined Watford, where he progressed to manage the under-23s and twice served as interim first-team manager. He later became assistant head coach at Colchester United, eventually taking over as head coach before being sacked in January 2022. In 2023, he briefly coached the Turks and Caicos Islands national team and is now Fulham under-21 head coach, having led them to victory in the 2024 Premier League Cup. Michael Brown. Ah yes, the master of the tactical fouls, Michael Brown. Or as the Blades fans will call him, oh Lord, Michael Brown. You know, back in the days before he didn't just foul people for a living. Brown stayed in the Championship for a while after Portsmouth, most notably with Leeds. But since retiring, he's a full-blown TV pundit where you'll often see him on BBC Sports, Quest, and of course Sky Sports talking all things EFL. Papa Bouba Diop. The late, great Papa Bouba Diop. A rock in the midfield and a cult favourite everywhere he went. Fulham, West Ham, Pompey. Sadly, he passed away in 2020 after a long illness, but his impact on fans and teammates is still remembered to this day. Quincy Anguissa. Remember Quincy? He started his career in the Arsenal Academy and then moved to Spartak Moscow, which started his wild ride. Fast, skillful, and occasionally brilliant. But he never really found consistency. As mentioned earlier, he went on a wild journey. Celta Vigo, Al Sadd in Qatar, Panathinaikos, Malaga, Boa Vista, and then spent time in the Eredivisie and even non-league in the Netherlands too. But fortunately, that's not where this story ends. Quincy is also the cousin of well-known UK rapper Sway, and has also pursued a music career under the name Blow. After years of recording and performing in disguise with Amsterdam group De Fellas, he released his debut solo mixtape in early 2020. I told you it was a wild ride. Tommy Smith. Smith's journey may not have been as flashy as Quincy's, but it was a solid one, netting over 100 goals across 8 clubs in the Premier League and EFL. Best known for his championship spells with Watford and QPR, he had a brief Premier League run before joining Brentford in 2014, where he scored a late equaliser on his debut. That turned out to be his final chapter, as he retired in 2015 and has since appeared as a guest on Sky Sports and Channel 5's Football League Tonight. Aruna Dindane. Dindane, known for his goals and one of the strangest contract clauses in Premier League history. On loan from Lens, Portsmouth were reportedly required to pay a hefty transfer fee if he started a certain number of matches, which led to him being benched late in the season despite his strong performances. I think that speaks volumes about Portsmouth from this era. After leaving Pompey, Dindane went on to play in Qatar and Malaysia, and following his retirement, served as a General Secretary of the Ivorian Footballers Association. Easy for you to say. And finally, the gaffer Avram Grant. The man who somehow took this squad to an FA Cup final despite all the madness. After Portsmouth, Avram Grant went on a world tour, managing in Serbia, Thailand, and even taking Ghana to the 2015 final of the AFCON. He then had a spell in India and is now the Zambia national football team manager. Crazy, I know. So that was Portsmouth's final Premier League 11. A team that sums up why we love and fear football chaos. From FA Cup glory to financial ruin in the blink of an eye, Pompey's fall from grace was one of the fastest we've ever seen. Some of these players stayed in the game, some went on wild adventures, and some, like Papa Bouba Diop, will always be remembered as legends. Which club's last Premier League 11 would you like to see next? Bolton? Sunderland? Wigan? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel too to push us out further. And thanks for watching Not One for Neutrals.